Hello everybody, welcome back. Astonation here. On the episode today, we want to look at the epitome of luxury that you can buy in the sedan car section. The ultimate saloon cars that offer a lot of luxury and driver features just for your comfort only, not necessarily looking at performance and handling and all that. What can money buy you in terms of luxury in the saloon car world? So on the episode today, we're going to look at this specific car. This is a Mercedes S-Class W221 S-Class that ran from 2007 up to 2014. This unit here is an S350. We are going to look at the features it has, the features it packs inside, what is under the bonnet, as well as what is just around the car in terms of kits and pieces that are on this car. So if you're new on the episode, if you're new on the channel, consider subscribing. Click on the bell icon to make sure that you're notified every time we post new videos, whether on Mercedes, Toyota, or every other car that we have on the show. Welcome. Let's begin at the back here. What does this car pack here on the body? So LED lights this car had as from 2007. We have an AMG badge here, although the car is not really an AMG spec, it's just the badging. If we look at this badge here, the Mercedes S350 CGI, this can take us to some nomenclature I would want to tell you about. So S is just for the S-Class, and then 350 for Mercedes previously used to denote the engine size that this car packs. So for instance, the S350 would be having the 3.5 liter V6 engine underneath, but as of late, these numbers do not really necessarily talk about the engine. For instance, a C180 or a C200 may come with a 1.6 liter turbo supercharged engine. So the CGI here, this is used for Mercedes cars that have compressed gasoline injection. These are just the Mercedes units that have forced induction, that is petrol powered engines that are turbocharged. So compressed gasoline injection is just Mercedes petrol engines that uses a turbo. Whereas the Mercedes compressor, if you see an S350 or a C200 compressor, that denotes that the engine has a petrol engine that uses a supercharger and not turbocharger. Then if you find a Mercedes that has, let's say, an S350 CDI, that is for compressed diesel injection, and that one will just be denoting that the car has a diesel engine that is forced induction turbo diesel engine on these units. So on this car here, LED taillights, we've talked about that. We will look at the boot space here. This car has massive boot space for it being a very long car on the W221 chassis, a long car. We also had long wheelbase for this. So just under here, if we can quickly peep here, we have a spare wheel here, a jack, and a wheel spanner under there. So all of them covered in that space, and the floor, and then comes back flat. So the boot is big enough for whatever luggage you may be having on your S-Class. So if you look at here, this is for the automatic locking of the boot. The boot will lock that way when you open it. It also comes up electronically, and then this is just to lock it as well. So if you had your doors open when you got home or somewhere, you left the car, you just bang the doors, but they are not locked by the key. So if you pick something from the boot and just press on that button there, the car will automatically lock the boot and all the other doors. You don't have to come and repeat it using the key. So we will come down to the sides, over this side here. A normal fuel filler cap here for Mercedes. This had just normal alloy wheels, the Mercedes bespoke wheels, 18 or 17 inch alloy. This has 18. Very wide rear doors, as well as the front door, having that is an S-Class, an elongated, we would say an elongated E-Class, because one thing with the Mercedes is the C-Class, the E-Class and the S-Class. The Mercedes cars are all related per se. We would say the E-Class is the smaller S-Class and the C-Class is the smaller E-Class as we move on. So little aluminium pieces here just to beautify the whole place. Shiny bits on the door handles as well. Sunroof over there. We'll get into that and then we can see that further. We have these door mirrors, side mirrors that have these beautifully designed repeater lights on the mirrors as well. We come to the front fender here, nothing specific. Some of them used to have aluminium panels, others carbon fiber. And then the bonnet here, we have these little scoops here that are just used to ventilate the hot air coming out of the hood. Yeah, here we have the sign or the mark of we would say luxury, the classic Mercedes emblem over here that was later removed from Mercedes cars for pedestrian safety issues from the European safety boards and whatever. Yeah, but you may notice modern Mercedes do not have this emblem over here. So we can quickly check under the hood. So under the hood here, the S-Class had different power plants here, all the way from 3-liter V6 up to the 6.2 AMG V8. But some other units had, in rare cases, had V12, the Mercedes V12 engines, bi-turbo. But for this one specifically, we are looking at a 3.5 V6 petrol engine that is here. So power ranges from 230 horsepower, beginning from the 3-liter V6 and up to 600 or nearly 700 horsepower on the 6.2-liter V8, which is on the S63 AMG. Just be mindful that the S63 AMG, as much as it says S63, that particular engine is a 6.2-liter Mercedes V8. So if we look still under here, this is where the battery is. You notice that some of these other Mercedes models, the battery is located in the boot, but this one has space here because yeah, if we had a V8 or a V12, there wouldn't be enough space for the battery here. Yeah, looking here, we have the adaptive dampers that you can set your ride. Adaptive dampers, that is just electronically controlled shock absorbers. So we have these hoses here that control the shock absorbers, which have also the hydro pneumatic feature that was pioneered by Citroen and then bettered by Mercedes to use on their S-Class. So these cars have that type of suspension that you have some balls that we call accumulators or hydraulic spheres on each end that work to regulate pressure in them, that regulates the ride of the car. So they work with a central computer that just regulates the fluid around the car to make sure that you have that very comfortable and very soft suspension while moving about. Remember, the car is set up for comfort and luxury and not for track events or any other handling activities. But if you set your suspension into sport mode, then the computer also stiffens up the suspension and just irons out all the body roll to make sure that you're not leaning too much into corners, but you have power hooked up on the ground and the car just rolling about nicely without body roll into corners and what have you. Yeah, so Mercedes ECUs normally located in the engine bay. This one is just under here, and then we have the windshield washer fluid reservoir over there. So things to look out for this engine. Normally these engines have a timing chain that is recommended to be replaced at just about 100,000 kilometers. Spark plugs and engine service. So spark plugs are also recommended to be replaced at about 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers. engine oil recommended for 15,000 kilometers, but you can be doing that at an interval, let's say 5,000 kilometers or 10,000 kilometers, because if you own a Mercedes S-Class, such things like routine maintenance, engine service will not be a problem. So engine oil, oil filter, air filter and things. Majorly the only biggest problem that was on these engines was something to do with crankshaft sensor for Mercedes, but this one specifically affected the smaller engines, the M271 and the M272 fitted in the C-Class and the E-Class. But for this one, regular maintenance, regular oil change, and then being on top of things, having that timing chain changed in good time, will see you staying happy with this car. Mind you, nobody really has an S-Class as a daily driver going for longer distances. These are cars bought by people who probably move from home to office and back. Yeah, so that is what we find under the bonnet. We will now go into the interior, check out what it packs, and then we can later take it for a drive. Into the S-Class. The magnificence, the luxury in here. We have leather interior, very, very good, very comfortable leather seats. They hug you nicely. The bolsters here, as well as the headrest here, that everything here is electronically controlled. So the dashboard, from the design, look at all that, how the gauge cluster is. This is an LCD display, not analog. So all those dials are digital. So we have a screen here for all the information configurations for the car, as well as the stereo. So we have this squeegee material leather here on the dashboard all through, and then this wood finish here. This one was finished in piano black, so you can't really notice it's wood, but yeah, with Mercedes it's actual wood. Probably if you can check here where we have some sunlight, you can see the finish here on the wood piano black. So we have the controls here for the seat. This one here moves the seat forward, the base of the seat, and then this one here just moves this top part of the seat only, and then this one here for the backrest, if you can see that, backrest. And then we have this little switch here for the headrest. If I do that, the headrest comes up, and then if I do that, it goes back in. And then where to lock your doors, lock and open. Window control switches here, and side mirror switches as well. On the steering wheel, this is also leather and heated as well. So we have buttons here for radio control, as well as Bluetooth and voice command. And then we have these ones here for changing through your track, music, and all that. Here on the center console, we have this analog clock here just for aesthetics. Not that you really need that. And then we have this nicely finished vents and this aluminium part. We have these metallic toggle switches for shortcuts for the air conditioning, those ones there. And then for heating the front defroster as well as the rear defroster. So we come down here, we have two cup holders and a cubby space here for your ashtray. And then we have this for cigarette lighter, but majorly nowadays just used for 12 volts power output. So we come up here, we have your controls for the seat here, and then the navigation system. This controls the radio on this other side as well for the seat and the windows. So we have this rotary knob here, which is also control for configuration for the car, different modes, as well as configuration for your stereo. So you can either just scroll to your right to move across stations like so, or you can just push it down, and then you have the list of your radio stations that you want to listen to, and just scroll down until you get to your favorite station and enter. Yeah, like so. So in here as well, we have this storage space at the center console. There is a tab here, you just push that and then open it, we have a huge space. On other models it can be cooled and heated at the same time, so you can use it as a cool box. Yeah, so on the doors here we also have very good storage spaces here. On the cabin spaces here, that you can put your water bottle, you can put your wallet, you can also put your mobile phone if at all you want to store it on that side, or a few other bits and pieces that you can store. We have an a 13 speaker system, Harman Kardon, that is fitted on this car with a subwoofer somewhere at the back. So looking up here, you have this sun visors with this vanity mirror here and a light to use that, and then you have your reading lights as well as interior lights, as well as your place to store your sunglasses. For those who didn't know, this place is specifically designed to store your sunglasses when you are driving somewhere you would need them, so you keep them there. Yeah. Same thing to this side, a sun visor as well as a vanity mirror with a light on it. And then when you come here at the roof, we have sunroof that is manually operated by this cover, manually operated by the roof itself is electronically opened and closed like so. So you can just flip it a bit that way, or have it open completely like so, and then you can drive about in your S-Class while just feeling the wind in the hair a little bit, or just feeling the breeze. But if at all you want proper wind in your hair and proper enjoyment, you can as well look for a smaller car that is a convertible. Here we also have this glove box that is huge enough to store some Mercedes owner's manual, books and so on, as well as your other items. You also have your auxiliary port here to just plug in some of your devices for music or whatever you would like to do with that. Yes, so on the passenger side as well, we have seat controls on that side. So those ones for the lower part of the seat, the backrest as well as the headrest, and then memory seats where you can see M123. So you can get in and set a specific position, then just press and hold on the one button, and then that will store the first memory of the seat, so that when you come in you don't have to fiddle around just trying to find your favorite position, but just press on either 1, 2 or 3 depending on where you saved that, and the car or the seat will go back to your favorite position that you had set and locked. Yeah, so at the back here we still have the same controls for the back seat here. They're also electronically controlled. You can push them forward, you can push them back as well. You can also recline them like so. You can also move your headrest up and down at the back here. So you also have your curtain here for just blanking out the sun from the back. You also have them here, the curtains for just cocooning yourself inside here in your luxury S-Class, just blocking out everything that can come from the outside, let's say direct sunlight or people peeping through. You also have air conditioning vents from the B pillar here that will blow some nice cold breeze onto you on a hot day. So I will have to push this seat further back. You can see how much space, how much legroom I have in this S-Class. That seat is in my position, my normal driving position, not really further back. I am not the tallest, I'm just about 6, but you can tell how much space is here. You can also tell how much headroom I still have here. So these seats are also nice and comfortable. They still hug you, nicely designed, as you can see with these bolsters and sides as well. Very soft and very heavy. You sit well in them. You are better off sitting 2 at the back rather than 3, because the third person, the person sitting in the middle, will have to struggle a bit, having that the middle space is a bit raised, and then we have this transmission tunnel that is in the middle that would eat into their space, and then you have them sitting with their legs apart, infringing into your space on either side. So the best thing to do is to just have two, and then you can have this part lowered down as the armrest down here, but also you can use it as a storage compartment for a few things here, not so big, but probably you can put your phone, your wallet, or something of that kind, and then just use it as armrest when you're sitting at the back. So that massive space for two. We also have some storage components here, which are also finished in leather, entirely in leather, as well as this side here. And then we have the third air conditioning vent for the people at the back that are also dual. So a person on this side can put their side hot, and then the other person on that side can put theirs as cold, and then you can control them using these knobs here, just to control the amount of air coming through. Also some storage here, and then we have a little cubby space here for the 12-volt socket down here, as well as another one here. So if two people are sitting at the back here, so you can charge your devices simultaneously without having to wait for the other one to finish. We also have some cup holders in here that are designed to be hidden there if you're not using them, and then when you want to use them, just push there and then they come out, and then you can put your cup here like so. So that is what is found in an S-Class in terms of the luxury, in terms of the space. And not forgetting, we also have this Mercedes branded sort of pass that you can use to probably put your wipes or your serviette, and then probably place it on the dashboard or just somewhere in the car for your passengers to use. Up here we also have a vanity mirror on both sides for the rear passengers, vanity mirror over there, with little lights here that can help you look at yourself. We also have these little coat hangers that you can use. So when you're going from a meeting, you can leave your house with probably your tracksuit, and then just have your other three-piece suit hung over here. Then you can get to a place and then change, and then get into your meeting. That is what you get in a Mercedes S-Class, although these can also be found in other smaller cars like the C-Class and the A-Class. So this car competes in the same class with the likes of Audi A8 as well as the BMW 7 Series. This is where you can find some kind of luxury in them. Having said that, we will just jump into the front seat, have a quick spin around just to get a feeling of how a Mercedes S-Class feels. Yes, so getting in here, these doors have soft lock. Notice when I open the door and then just bring it back to close and then leave it there, yeah, it closes itself, the soft close feature. So you can just bring the door up to the frame, and then the car will do the rest for you. So I still have the key. We'll start the car. Notice how the dashboard illuminates, and then the Mercedes gear shifter, the gear lever, is not like traditionally how it used to be, or probably let's say on the older versions, the C-Class, E-Class, and the class down. So we have this stock here on this other side that you use it to change direction or change gear. Put it in drive. We have our parking brake release here. So we'll just release that. It's in gear, and then we will move. So first of all, I don't know whether you can hear that. I'll just stop for a second. It's so quiet. What you can hear now, probably roaring in the background, is the air conditioning, which is stone cold. So we'll just have a quick spin. So this bit of the road here is a bit bumpy, so we can still feel nothing, only a few tiny vibrations sort of, which is just normal, but generally the car is super comfortable. It just glides over road bumps, and all other imperfections are really sorted. So this car has, as I mentioned earlier, the hydro pneumatic suspension that is also adjusted electronically just to suit the road conditions, when you want them hard or when you want them soft, just to roam about. So driving the S-Class, first of all, that was the doors locking. It sounded a bit like something scratched the car. So first of all, the car is so long that the bonnet is nearly a mile, the end of the bonnet is nearly a mile away from you. But then you get used to it. It has a feeling of you driving a pickup truck, that you can not really see the end of it at the back, as well as the end of it at the nose, at the end of the bonnet. But yes, the thing is so smooth and so quiet, so refined, so comfortable that you don't feel anything on the road. You don't get any feedback coming through the shocks, through the body, but just smooth ride. So this is a car not for the faint-hearted, because first of all, acquiring them is quite a good amount of money, as well as maintaining them if you find them used ones, and if at all they have been abused in a way, then you'll tend to find that you have a huge bill of repair that you're looking at. And not forgetting as well, Mercedes parts do not come cheap from the various dealerships or individual shops that sell them. So how much power do we have in this thing? So quite enough power to pull through, quite enough power to overtake, quite enough power to cruise on the motorway. So where you will fully enjoy the power of these cars and the comfort and the luxury is when you're having long distance travels. That's when you will have to enjoy the efficiency of these cars, the comfort on the motorway and all that. But if you're having to use this car within town, in traffic stops, in between lights, that's when you notice that these particular engines are not fuel friendly. They're typical guzzlers. So if you're buying this, buy it for highway cruising, buy for a lot of mileage to be chewed up on the road, and just not sitting in the city center traffic jam. So this car is so powerful. This car drives nicely. As we said, the only things to look at is regular service, looking at the oil changes, looking at the filter changes, looking at transmission service. So this car had two types of transmission. The first generations, or the earlier ones of the W221, came with a 5-speed automatic transmission. There was no manual transmission for S-Class. So first 5-speed automatic transmission, lately or later on called the 5G-tronic, and then the nowadays 7G-tronic, which is just typically 7-speed automatic transmission for Mercedes. So if you get a Mercedes with the 7G-tronic badge at the back, it just means it has a 7-speed automatic gearbox, which are quite reliable, not really issues with them, but you need to stay on top of your oil changes every 80 to 100,000 kilometers. But for good service, if you can afford an S-Class, then definitely you can afford having a gearbox flash or a gearbox service every 50,000 kilometers for you to keep enjoying the tip-top condition of the Mercedes, for you to keep enjoying the luxury, the excellence, and all the comfort that you find in this car. So we've just stopped a bit in traffic on the stop lights, but then when you're not on the motorway, when you're not just flooring it about, because on the motorway you will have to have it cost a lot more after you gain speed, after you gain momentum. Then there is where they try to become efficient. But when you are in typical city jams like this one, at a standstill, or just probably spending your drive in first, second or third gear, that's when these things are huge guzzlers, especially for these 3.5 liter units and above. You tend to drink a lot of fuel, you tend to sip in a lot of petrol. Yeah, so that sums up our quick review of the Mercedes S-Class. I hope you've enjoyed our content. If you're new here, please consider subscribing as well. Share it, like it, so that it gets recommended to many of your friends, as well as click on the bell icon to make sure that you are notified every time we are doing a new video